So Sagrada Reset episode 12 was a pretty enjoyable episode. Now I didn't do a video on episode 11 last week. That was mainly due to the fact that it wasn't a bad episode per se, but it kind of felt to me like an OVA episode. It felt like something that we would have gotten in an extra episode bundled with the Blu-rays and DVDs after the show finished. And it was kind of fascinating seeing Haruki by herself and seeing how she kind of thinks and interacts with the outside world by herself, but it definitely, I could see a lot of people calling it filler or something like that, because it doesn't really do anything to progress the overall plot. All it really did was kind of further show Haruki's mentality outside, which it was fun to watch, but that's about all it was. But luckily with episode 12, we're back on the swing of things. This is going to be a 4-part episode arc, and this was really cool. Because what I really like about Sagrada Reset is it's not just focused around Haruki and Kei's abilities of resetting and remembering the reset, but in fact, they need to use other abilities to figure out how to, solve the issues that kind of get presented to them pretty much every single arc. And this time, because we did get the dead girl back into the world, the thing with it is that she's going to have to become the next witch for the Bureau. As soon as the Bureau knows that she's back, they're going to want her ability, because as soon as she talks to someone, she can read their future. So essentially, they got to figure out a way that, or at least Kei thinks they need to figure out a way to get Samir out of there, so she can just live a normal life. And the obvious kind of answer would be her leaving this town and forgetting that she ever died and forgetting that she had her ability. The issue is will that have any negative effect, because they pulled her away using an ability, so if she left the town, would that ability also get negated, and would that cancel out her revival pretty much? There's a lot of ways that this could go wrong, and what I like about this episode is they introduce this person who's pretty much it seems like in a coma. They've been sleeping for 9 years. But anyone who sleeps around them gets kind of wrapped up in this dream world this person has made, and essentially, this girl is God. She pretty much has a world that is identical to this town, it's mirrored, and you can't go outside the town, but it's essentially the same thing, and she makes anyone in this dream world happy, but to some people that's not healthy, that you just have everything perfect in this world. So it's really cool, because you introduce this town so they can test this exact scenario. What if she leaves? Will it be okay? Because it's the exact replica. But of course, there's going to be some issues like the fact that you can't go outside the town, so they need to figure out how they can do this. Samir's also kind of doing something in this world as well. So I like how they introduce this mechanic, because it's not just Kei and Haruki using Reset and calling it a day and overcoming this issue, but in fact they're using a new mechanic that is really fascinating. I mean, it was definitely unexpected at the very end of the episode, where more or less this girl has made a god to kind of act for her, because it gets said in the episode and it makes total sense. Would you rather yourself make a birthday cake for your birthday, or would you rather create a god who would then give you that birthday cake? And it kind of makes sense, because even though this girl pretty much has made this world, it's better for her to make a god in this world to act for her kind of a thing, and her not actually remember. It actually makes total sense. But that monster at the very end of the episode, it seems like at night, for whatever reason, this monster comes in and destroys the town. And that's going to be fascinating, because I don't think that's just going to be a random thing that happened. I think that's going to be important in the next few episodes on why that happens. Kind of looks like a Pokemon in some way, like a junk Pokemon or something like that, but it was kind of weird to see it, but at the same time it was kind of cool all in one. But this episode was pretty good. I really enjoyed seeing this new mechanic, and the fact that this is going to be a 4-part episode, or a 4-part arc. That's going to be really cool, because we'll have time to flesh out this dream world and how they're going to overcome, in the real world to the dream world, what exactly is going to happen there. And I think that's going to be pretty fascinating, ultimately, and I'm just interested in seeing if the Bureau is going to ultimately recruit her, or if she's going to escape her life. I mean, at the end of the day, when you leave the town, you forget your abilities, but nothing's been, specified that you lose your ability. So even though she was brought back to life with an ability, all that she should forget is that she was brought back using an ability. But then again, maybe there is more to it, and if you do leave, you actually do completely lose your abilities, and if that's true, then yes, she would die if she left the town. So there's so many ways that they can take this, and hopefully this dream world is going to overcome this issue. And just overall, I thought this was a pretty good episode. I think, it didn't really kind of go above or beyond in the art and animation. It still felt pretty standard to the quality that we've been getting with this series so far. I think they're going to be able to do some interesting editing techniques. I mean, depending if they do it or not. But I think because they are in a dream world, because they are mirroring things, I think even with the monster itself, I think they have a lot of possibilities of doing some cool techniques with the art and animation, but really only time will tell. But overall, I enjoyed this episode a lot. Definitely a lot better than last week's episode. Last week's episode wasn't bad, but it definitely felt like filler in a lot of ways. So I'm excited to see where episode 13 goes next week. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Did you love the episode? Did you hate it? Do you think it was just okay? Let me know, and before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, peace, take care, and have a good one.